from the crypt.
Hello, boils and ghouls. Welcome to episode 160 of Dads from the Crypt. My name is Jason. I'll be your host tonight, and I am joined by Mondo.
Hello.
Hello, Mondo. Where are you? You're in the hotel somewhere?
I am in Joliet, Missouri. 10 out of 10 would not recommend. Like, just don't ever come here.
To Missouri or Joliet?
I mean, I've been to St. Louis. St. Louis is cool. Joliet, though. Yeah. And you know what? I'm not going to say no offense to the people here because most of the people I've met here have sucked. So we'll leave it at that. I can give you more details off the air if you want to hear about my experience yesterday at a brewery.
That poor one Joliet, Missouri listener is just going to unsubscribe now.
Hey, you know what, though?
If
If they're listening to us at this point, they got to be pretty cool. So if you're listening to us and you're from Joliet, you're probably pretty cool at this point.
Yeah, or they're just hate, or they're hate listening.
160? Damn.
Still counts as a listener.
I like the way you think.
All right. Joining us as well, we have our fun Aunt Whitney.
Howdy, friends.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Great.
Okay, also joining us.
I love the energy level in this room right now.
I know.
I'm doing well, thank you.
Is Anastasia. Welcome.
Hello. Welcome. I just welcomed you onto your own.
Welcome, Jason.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to be here. Let me tell you about this wonderful podcast called Dads in the Crypt.
Welcome to your own show. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad that I wasn't the only one dancing for anyone that is watching the video. I was dancing during the intro, and then I came back and Anastasia was dancing too.
How could you not?
I'm probably
that is a bop.
When you've got a Hi-Fi making your intro video, it's a bop. And also shout out again to Hi-Fi HY-FY. They have a new album out just in time. It dropped on Friday the 13th. Ooh.
Ghost.
But it's good. It's real good. Yes, the album is called Ghost. It's good.
It's his best work yet.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
If you've been listening to him, it's kind of cool to hear the progression from EP to album to et cetera, et cetera. It's been really pretty remarkable, in all honesty, for someone who really doesn't have a background in music to just kind of pick this up and go with it.
Yeah.
Those years of podcast recording and audio, I'm sure, get to some familiarity.
Sure, it doesn't hurt.
That's a hard word.
Still, anyone that can create something musically, it just baffles my mind. I have the brain. I love listening to music, but I just don't have a brain that can create it. So I understand what kind of witchcraft that is.
It is witchcraft.
Speaking of witchcraft, Whitney, what you got going on this spooky season?
I am getting really excited. We're more than halfway through the Oh My Horror Movie Challenge, and I've actually created an Instagram for the movie challenge. It's Oh My Horror Challenge, and give it a follow. It's gonna have I'm trying to back dump and post all the weeks leading up. So if you follow and get 20 posts in one day, I'm very sorry. But I want to get caught up so I can post on a weekly basis. We also have a Discord channel. So if that's something interesting, find me on Instagram. I'll put the link on the website fairly soon. But ultimately, the movie challenge, 52 weeks, 52 themes, 52 horror movies. I think right now is time of recording. We're in Hispanic Horror Week because September is Hispanic Heritage Month, I believe. So I had to make sure we weren't in October yet. I had to figure out what month we were in. So yeah, I haven't picked my movie yet, but really excited. I think it may be Satanic Hispanics because I've been holding on and watching that for a long time.
Have you seen it yet?
I haven't. My movie really challenge this year, I'm trying to watch all new movies, and I've succeeded in that, except for one. which was the cult horror week, because my best friend had never seen Rosemary's Baby. And I was so excited for her to watch that. So I did a rewatch for that week because how could you not?
Yeah, but
No,
definitely do Satanic Hispanics.
Okay.
So many great people that I know are part of that.
Oh.
It's just fun. It's so fun.
It's really good. We're a big
Really
fan
good.
of that one.
So yeah,
All right.
ohmyhorror.com if you want to join in the challenge, and there's more ways to participate now. It's okay to jump in and finish up the year with us, and there will be I'm pretty soon I've got to start doing my prep for 2025, which is crazy, which means it'll be the third year I've done it.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, it's fun.
All right. And Anastasia, anything you want to plug? You got anything coming up?
Ooh, spooky season's big deal for me this year. I got a couple movies coming out at festivals. So if you are going to horror movie festivals and you see Gaslighter, MLM, or Key Club, you might see my face there. Those are really fun ones. And yeah, I mean, I'm just getting ready for LA Comic-Con and all this like spooky stuff that I get to get into. I'm really excited about going to Halloween Horror Nights this weekend. I'm so excited. Yeah.
That sounds like
I'm taking
fun.
the fam. Like two of the people that are going are under 15, and that's their first
wow.
time.
That's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be something.
Yeah. What day are you going to LA Comic-Con?
I have panels on Saturday and Sunday, so come see some of the panels.
Oh, were you on the call with Rory?
I was not. I'm
Okay.
horrible like that.
Yeah, because I'm showing the Mike Fosberg documentary on Saturday.
Oh my gosh, I will try to make it.
It's at noon in room 411.
I feel like I can actually make that one, so I will be there.
Which panels are you doing on Saturday so I can stop by?
Okay, so Saturday I have 4 panels.
Dang.
Wow.
You're gonna be a busy person.
It's a lot. So, but the 2 that I'm organizing, 2 of them I'm moderating for a friend, and 2 are mine by babies. So Sound of Fear is all these amazing horror composers coming together. We have some really great composers that are going to talk about making soundtracks to horror. And then also on that day, I have a stand-up show that is a horror movie stand-up show. So that one's called Laugh Till You Scream, and that one's like later in the day. I think it's one of the last ones because I want to make sure that everyone's, I guess, 18. I don't know. Most of mine have 18 plus on them. Like I have my true crime podcast one on Sunday, and it's definitely labeled like. Don't come here unless you're ready to hear this true crime stuff.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, we'll have to meet up for at least a few minutes.
That would be great.
Can I ask a quick question? You mentioned MLM. Is that an MLM themed horror movie or a short?
It is.
I'm so hyped.
MLM is about a legging scam. It has more to do with it, but yeah, it's a legging scam, and it's actually now going to be part of an anthology that we just finished filming about like all these crazy freelance jobs that we all have in this gig economy and how horrible it is. So yeah, but MLM is.
That sounds amazing.
Anthology horror movie, you say? If only I knew a podcast that specializes in anthology horror movies.
Wow.
Which one would that be, Jason?
Welcome.
Yeah, it's called Grind, and we just wrapped filming. So, but that's MLM awesome. Is going to be part of it. But yeah, so
I can't wait to check that out.
Yes, please do.
All right. Well, tonight we're officially doing Sam Neill month. Apparently, just going to happen that way. So last week. So last week we did In the Mouth of Madness. This week we're doing Event Horizon. We'll see what we do next week. But yeah, we never have too much Sam Neill in your life. But tonight we are talking about Event Horizon. Jody's not here to do the synopsis. I just realized. So I can just do a very quick overview of this movie. I'm just going to do a very quick one. Okay. So Event Horizon came out August 15th, 1997. It is about a salvage crew plus a doctor who are going to the wreckage of a mysterious spaceship that disappeared 7 years ago with a very experimental engine power source, whatever you want to call it. And so basically Sam Neill plays the doctor that's going with the crew. And it turns out that it does the thing that we see in the movies all the time where they bend space and time to be able to go from one part of the galaxy to the other with the pen through the paper. We've seen that demonstrated many times. But in doing this, it created a hole to another dimension. And we later find out that the crew went crazy in the dimension of pure chaos. May or may not be hell. Who knows? Either way.
I think it's hell.
I think it's hell, yeah.
Well, it's like, is the biblical sense of hell, or is it like a hellish place? It doesn't.
like,
it doesn't need to answer, but
space hell.
Space
it's like
hell.
Hellraiser light.
Yeah. And the crew slowly goes mad. We got people jumping out of airlocks without spacesuits on, people falling to their death, and all kinds of fun stuff. And Sam Neill goes crazy for the second week in a row, and gets naked and cuts himself up and tries to murder people, all in the name of fun.
Would you say in this one though he intentionally goes crazy? Like he knows what he's doing?
Well, I'm sure at some point in his life he wasn't crazy, but he slowly there's a lot of trauma going on in this movie. So like his wife commits suicide.
What trauma?
Exactly. So I don't know if I don't know if he went crazy while designing the ship or he went crazy after his wife committed suicide. Hopefully YouTube doesn't restrict us for saying the S word, but yeah, it's debatable. We don't know exactly when he did, but he definitely goes more over the edge as the movie goes on, I would say. He wasn't cutting himself in naked when he first got to the ship.
Right.
He saved that for later.
Yeah.
He was insane enough to be like, let me try to open up portals and bend space. And then he was like, also though, trauma. And then also though, naked cutting. Yeah.
I mean, I'll just say, like, he does a great job of his performance of actually being sympathetic. Like, there's a progression to it.
For sure, yeah.
I guess because I watched this for the second time, and I guess my biggest question. Sorry if we're not done with the synopsis. It felt
we're done.
Whitney,
let's go with it. We're good.
Yeah, Whitney, tell me what you thought of this movie.
If you're listening to this and you haven't seen the movie, what's wrong with you? Pause. Come back later after you watch the movie. But when he was because like the whole mission like of this rescue salvage is because they heard something. Do you think he knew what he did, or like did his realization of opening this portal to hell light like dawned on him once he got on the ship? Like that wasn't super clear to me, so I'm just curious if y'all had a reading on it.
I think it dawned on him. Like I think he knew he opened something, but I don't think he knew what it was till he got on the ship, and that's where the trauma build comes in when he sees like his wife killing herself and whatnot. And also, Jason, do you think YouTube will censor us if I say "fuck YouTube"? Just wondering.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
They don't feed us yet.
They're not feeding us, trust me.
But yeah, I think when he sees that though, he embraces it. Then when he sees what he's actually opened at that point, it's obviously hell playing a trick on him, and it gets him to further go down that rabbit hole and then embrace that evil.
Yeah, I think he was called to it. I think like he was called to it and didn't know why he was being called to it, but also then like slowly like embraced it and yeah, like that whole unalived wife
we can say it at this point.
That was my read too of like, and I think that's why he's sympathetic at the beginning, because I don't think he's there with like the ill intentions. They come on later once he's starting to realize this is bigger than even I thought. Like,
they do a good job making it somewhat ambiguous, and I'm glad they do, because you don't want to. It's one of the things, you don't want to over-explain it. Just give us an idea of a taste of what it is. And there's the whole thing with that one with the video sequence, the infamous video sequence, where they only show a little bit. And supposedly there's a much longer cut.
I want to see that cut.
I want to see that.
I want to see that cut. But I think in the movie it would have been too much.
I think it would have been a good DVD extra.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because it leaves you wanting more. It leaves you being like, I want to see the cut.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it in the movie theater. So I was 13 or 14. And
Love it.
thinking that it was the scariest film I've ever seen in my whole entire life. And now rewatching it, I feel different.
See that though, you know. That's kind
I still think
scary.
it's a scary movie. It definitely like gives you the creeps.
That spaceship is so dangerously designed. Like
Yes,
way
I
too
love
many
it.
like meat grinders. The doors have spikes on them. Like calm down. Like,
They even call it the meat grinder, which I love.
yeah.
They even call
It
it that
does
in the
feel
movie.
like a sex club in space. And I was like, well, maybe because I'm older now, I like it. You know,
It's like a kinky spaceship.
I was like, it bothered me before, but now I'm like, all right, let's move in. You know,
You know, Metalhead designed it because they're like, fuck it, put spikes. It's a door,
Oh,
though.
it's like-
Yeah, but it needs
It's
spikes.
it's literally the design of a crucifix hanging out in
Yes.
space.
Yes.
So wild. It's like,
It's like-
let's design a room, but then put spikes everywhere. So like if you trip and fall, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
so hot
Duh.
topic, 1999.
So hot topic.
This is similar to the toothbrush I used to keep in my downstairs guest bathroom I'm telling you, I'm getting there. Because if you wet it and pet your cat with it, it reminds them of being licked by their mother. And my cat loved it. So I'd always put it back in the same spot. And my wife would say, what if someone uses that? I'm like, who the fuck goes to a stranger's house and uses a toothbrush they found in the bathroom?
That's true, though.
That's
yeah.
fair.
So it's the same principle. You're just putting the spikes there saying like, everyone should be smart enough not to fall into these spikes.
But
Right. Whitney, go on.
Oh, that was
Keep going.
it. That was kind of like my like biggest thought coming out of this was kind of like I read it as he wasn't going onto this mission like knowing like he opened up I don't even know if like he knew he opened up this like ripped the dimension. I think it was all about like finding the craft that was lost. And so I think once he got on there, it would like call to him and he just started like going cuckoo bananas.
I could definitely see an argument that he knew he fucked up somehow. Like, I think in his mind, somewhere he knew this was a possibility. It's kind of like, in Oppenheimer, where they're like, well, there's a 0.00% chance of us destroying the universe by smashing these atoms together.
Yeah.
It's so minuscule.
Okay, well,
that
let's see
we're,
what
like,
happens.
we'll see what happens. But I think this
Yeah.
is the flip part where it actually he knew that something could happen.
Yeah.
I've been
He might, I think he might even have some guilt over the fact the ship disappeared, since he's the one who designed it. So I could definitely see an argument for that, but I don't think he knew or meant for it to be
the extent, yeah.
to the extent.
Yeah.
All right, Anastasia, what did you think of this movie?
I'm coming out of it. It's so different because I think I was so afraid of it for so long, like really scared. Full disclosure, though, I have a huge phobia of space. My mom said, like, when I was like 6 years old, I started having panic attacks looking up at the sky, saying we're like hanging in nothingness, and like, yeah, I was a weird kid. But so I remember.
No, I think that's a fair fear. I started looking at I like paused the movie and went on to like the 50 most impressive NASA images, and the guy's just like in space doing an untethered walk. And I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. You're just like
No, sir.
in space, not tethered to anything. Like that is not
it's
okay.
not okay. It's not
That's
okay.
Not okay.
So I think coming from that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like that. Because when I saw it in theaters, like I really remember just being like terrified of it. And then now I think that the CGI doesn't really stand up, and so it's like Twister bad. And so I think that took me out of it a little bit, but I do think the acting's great. I think the story is great, but I do like very rarely say this, but I think this is one that could be remade.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Definitely,
I mean,
definitely.
And I wouldn't fight it. I'd be like, yeah,
Let's
let's go see that.
let's
Yeah.
update the fact that we're using CD-ROMs and like
Oh my god, I love it.
2047 or whatever.
I
Let's
loved
just,
it.
like, have a digital watch that doesn't look like it is itself digitized. That kind of thing. But yeah, no, I thought it was a good movie. I don't know what scale are we going on. Like, how are we scaling these?
Jason will make us rate it afterwards.
Okay. Well, then I won't do it. I
I'll
won't
make
do
you.
it ever.
Or else I'll send you
I
the hell
won't ever do
dimension.
it. I won't ever do it.
Okay, fine.
Promises.
Jason seemed like the kind of guy that would open a portal to hell and try to bring all his friends there too. Just saying, Jason.
I'll go.
Where else would your
Yeah,
friends
why
Me
not?
be? Where else
Find
would your
me.
friends be?
Is Trump president there? Because if not, I'm
I
there.
was,
I'll
gonna
go.
make a joke. I was gonna make a joke like that, but I'm like,
Too late, did it.
If I knew you'd get there.
You did it for him.
I don't like that, man.
Great minds think alike.
All right, Mondo.
Yeah, so I wasn't going to be on this podcast because I'm traveling, but so funny story. On Sunday, I woke up and my wife sleeps late, and my child is watching the trailer. I went downstairs to Event Horizon. I said, "What are you doing?" And they go, "I just thought this looks like a really good movie to watch." And I was like, I have the 4K. So we threw the 4K UHD on and watched it. So that's why I'm here. And they loved it, which is always cool to get the opinion of an early 21-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm always that guy that when I show my child a movie I love, I'm doing this shit, like looking over, like, are you enjoying yourself? Are you having fun? Are you loving the same movie that I love?
Yeah. Because
So,
it kind of breaks your heart a little bit if they don't like have the same reactions. You're
Yes.
like, but you have to love what I love. What's happening?
I took them to see a Godzilla movie at this Beverly Cinema, and it was one of the wackier ones, Invasion of the Astro Monsters, where you have Godzilla doing like the Russian dance or whatnot. And
I love it.
afterwards, I love it too. And I was thinking, I hope they don't hate me for taking them. And afterwards, they go, "That was awesome." I was like, I am the best dad.
Yes. Good parenting.
So it was kind of cool to see someone get their first watch of it, because I actually watched this for the first time during the pandemic. And it's one of those movies that have been on I know it's one of those movies I've known about for forever. I love Sam Neill, and I've always put off watching it. So I finally sat down and watched it, and I fell in love with it right away because I'm a huge Hellraiser nerd. And like you said earlier, it's Hellraiser light. It's Hellraiser in space.
It's the Diet Coke of Hellraiser, and I love Diet Coke.
I like that.
That's good.
So I think this is one of those space horror has been done many, many times and done well and done poorly. And I think this really stands head and shoulders above a lot of space horror, because space and interdimensions are a character in this, and they really kind of fuck with it. That's really the antagonist. The antagonist is space and these different dimensions. And I think it works really well with the story they tell. And I love Whitney's question, 'cause I never really pondered that about what were his intentions when he got on the ship, because that adds a whole nother layer to it that I'm still kind of thinking about.
Yeah,
because there's points where he kind of was like saying like he was always called here, he was always supposed to be here. So you could fight for that like theory that that's exactly what he wanted to do.
Yeah,
but he's so like he's so sympathetic in other areas, and he seems so like. So I don't know, unless he's a really good actor in that area.
Well,
which he could be.
Well, I mean, if I was going to break this movie down to its simplest components, it's really The Shining plus Alien plus Hellraiser.
Yeah,
and
that's
if
a
we
good
go
combo.
if you go that route, then Sam Neill is the Jack Torrance character. So does Jack Torrance start off? He's again, Jack Torrance has demons, especially related to his alcoholism, in The Shining before he gets to the Overlook, but then the Overlook slowly corrupts him into murder.
Murder.
And light furring.
Like Mondo, this was a Terror Tuesday first watch for me back in 2019. So I got to see it at the Alamo Draft House, and I had a blast. It was a full theater. It was, and these are like, so they started like 9-10 p.m. So people are just having a good time. And so I have to bring up my Letterboxd review because I looked at it and I watched this the night before NASA announced the first photo of a black hole had been captured with the Event Horizon telescope. And like that blew my mind. And I was like, we're opening a portal to hell. And it's on Neptune and CD-ROMs are coming back. And then I wrote, I couldn't stop giggling at the captain's chair on his ship.
Yes.
And I just couldn't understand why I wrote that. I mean, answered my question 5 minutes in when he just like turns around. His little feet are just like stuck together. And he has to turn around to stand up and get up out of your chair. Like, you do not need to have a 360 view of the brig. Like, what are you doing? He looks so
It's like
ridiculous.
a Dr. Evil contraption.
Yes, it totally does.
I just was waiting for him to get like stuck in it and just be like, wait, hold on, I know we're going to hell.
And it just like wiggles a little bit when you stop. Oh, I was so glad that I laughed at it again because I couldn't understand my comment because this is only a second time watch for me, but it holds up. I mean, Anastasia, you mentioned like the CGI, especially the eyeball CGI, is just not good. And I don't even know if you could make it good.
Or the water.
The blobs and stuff like that. But any of the space shots and like the ship shots looked really good. And it's kind of crazy when I think like, gosh, this was like 97. Like that is so
well, because
long
they're still doing model work back then. They weren't fully CGI ships, so they're marrying model works with all that. But so there's that really cool opening shot where he's in his cabin, where Sam Neill's character's in his cabin, and it pulls out like through this whole spaceship and stuff. That took like months and months and like a third of the effects budget just to get that one shot.
Whoa.
Wow.
I didn't know that's crazy.
That took like it was a very long, complicated process. The whole movie, I think they said from like start to finish was only 10 months, including pre-production, which for
I have
like
no idea if that's
effects
good or
movie.
bad.
Well, for a big effect movie,
yeah.
Good. That's very quick. And editing, usually editing takes months. Pre-production is months. And effects and everything. So again, this is 1997. So I think we're in this era where CG has become affordable for most production companies, but not sophisticated enough for them to like for it to be that good. So we get a lot of, but I think there's all these because I watched like Deep Impact the other day just for funsies. Well, my wife had never seen it. She likes disaster movies. So I was like, okay, we'll give that one a try.
I haven't seen that one in ages.
Oh, I saw it in the theater and I haven't seen it since. It's wild. But I think there's all these sci-fi scripts that have been sitting around that were just like unfilmable or too expensive or out of like most studio budgets. So I think once CG became affordable, they're like, okay, let's dust off the pile and see what we can start doing. So I was looking at movies that came out just to kind of familiarize ourselves with this year. So we have Scream 2, just to put us in the mindset. But we also have Spawn, Alien Resurrection, Men in Black, Starship Troopers, Cube.
Starship Troopers.
I love Starship Troopers. Cube, Anaconda, the second Jurassic Park movie, and Fifth Element. We're all this one year.
Oh,
wow.
Fifth Element.
Yeah. That's a lot of like big like sci-fi creatures, space. Movies.
I think it's like as you're getting closer to the 2000s, this like we're changing a huge number type of deal. I remember Men in Black had like Burger King toys, which is so weird to think about.
I say bring them back. Bring back the age of the other day I like woke up and I just really was like, you know what's so sad is that we don't have like a Pizza Hut Rocketeer kids meal anymore. Like what's going on with my life that's not, or a Land Before Time one. Like I want that back. You know?
McDonald's is doing a Crocs. Well, McDonald's is doing a Crocs.
Yes,
like
my wife
Crocs toy.
Well, last night my wife Uber eated 2 kids meals so she could get the Croc keychain.
She got them?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like, what happened to my Barbie that didn't move? Like, was just this stationary Barbie or a chicken nugget that was dressed like a vampire? But
that's what I want them to bring back: the chicken nuggets, dude.
Or
They're so cute.
The Hamburglar.
Well, there was the folding ones where it was like a McDonald's cup and he unfolded into like a dinosaur.
They're Transformers.
Cool. Transforming McDonald's food.
Yes,
I'm gonna call them Transformers.
Bring it back.
So a couple more things. So again, there's that opening bit with Sam Neill, and he's like having visions of his wife, and like he says out loud, "I miss you." Like, of course, we don't need to say that, but then he turns around, and he has a picture in his hand, and there's like a whole wall of pictures.
But that picture that was in his hand was also on the wall too, which I
I
thought
know,
was
it
kind
was
of
so
weird.
weird. I'm like,
I was like,
okay,
did you not
It's
realize it
called
was just cropped?
obsession.
I'm
He was like,
gonna
"That's a good photo of me. I'm gonna post it twice."
I'm going to defend him saying I miss you because like, as I talked about last week when my dog passed away,
Mm.
I have her photo on the front of my phone, and I said I miss you out loud many times, just hoping maybe somewhere out there they can hear me.
Oh,
I
So
don't think
there's
the I
nothing wrong.
miss
There's nothing wrong with
you.
that.
There's nothing wrong with the I miss you. I think the shrine was.
it
It's
was
fine.
the I miss you, then pivot to a shrine to the
Okay.
person.
I
That's
do
what
feel
I'm-
like it's his
Now I get what you're-
character though. Like I feel like I don't know. Like I felt like he had a god complex,
Yeah,
and that kind of
can see
made sense that his like little possession that he didn't really pay attention to when it was alive is now his ultimate obsession now that she's dead.
yeah.
That's interesting.
So I don't know.
Either.
I was like, oh yep, that you're that dude. Okay.
I mean, do we know if the
Um,
unaliving timeline, like, is that something that happened while he was on the mission, or like back from, like, do we even know? I don't think it's clarified.
Yeah, they don't really explain. It seemed like it probably was while he was working on the ship, which means it was like
Yeah.
7 years. It had to be at least 7 years ago because that's when the ship
Yeah.
went missing. So it's been like 8-9 years, maybe. But yeah,
Rough.
it's movie shorthand. There's a couple like sci-fi cliches that I love in this. The fact that again the ship is in low orbit and there's these like Neptune storms, but we can hear thunder and lightning in space somehow. That always cracks me up.
Yeah.
They do the thing where they don't tell anyone what the mission is until after they've arrived. They don't have like 5 minutes to clue them in,
Which
especially
is
if they're
just
being
so poor planning. Like nobody gets like a dossier before they go.
yeah. Which like how they know what equipment to bring, you know, what kind of ship they're
Yeah.
salvaging. It just
Or
it's
where
every
to
sci-fi
go.
movie does this.
Or like, what work trip are you not knowing what you're signing up for? That is just like, I'm going to London for work next week. I need to know what's expected of me.
There are
Not
times my
much.
sales guys. There are times my sales guys like this is where I need you to be, and I'm like I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, but I'll be there.
Right.
So
And then
So you would
they
be
go
in
from-
space going to Neptune then.
Yeah.
no, because I've
Also,
seen
they
enough
get to
horror
Nep-
movies to I'd be like I get on that spaceship, and be like nope, I'm
I definitely
Also,
would
if
not
Sam
get
do
Neill's on
that.
a spaceship, I'm leaving.
Also,
I'm not.
I love Sam
They
Neill,
get
but I
to-
know something's up.
they get to Neptune in 56 days. That to me
Super
is
easy.
insane.
Remember the paper holding?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
well, they
don't
talk
know how
about
they
how
do
like
that.
if you were, they talk about how if you're not in that gravity tube, you're going to be smushed. But still, like, yeah, that I have a lot of like disbelief in. But it's just timey-wimey, spacey stuff. But
Timey-wimey spacey stuff.
yeah, but this movie has, I think, okay, so this director, Paul W.S. Anderson of Resident Evil and Monster Hunter and all these other movies, he did the Alien versus Predator movie, which gets bagged on. I think if they let it be an R-rated movie, it would have been much better, but that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But his first movie was like kind of a gritty indie crime movie called Shopping. And then he goes from that to do Mortal Kombat, the movie, which makes a lot of sense. And I will defend that movie. I love that movie.
It's good. The original first one is. I'm with you on this one, Jason.
The second one is one of the worst all-time movies, which they even like.
Mm-hmm.
I read that they made them stop doing the special effects. Like didn't let them finish rendering and just said, just let it go.
Like this is gonna suck. Stop spending money on it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's horrible.
But yeah, so again, Mortal Kombat is PG-13, and I think he wanted to do something a little more extreme, so that he kind of jumped onto this movie. So again, Paul W.S. Anderson, written. Actually, I don't know the writer on here, but again, we're starting Lawrence Fishburne, who again he was in the Predators movie. He's excellent on the Hannibal TV show, and of course, he's in Dream Warriors.
He shouldn't run. He does not look natural when he's running. Just
Oh.
no running in space.
Yeah, it was a word.
So sorry. Yeah.
None of the movements that these people were doing, like their reaction times were so slow. Like like something would explode and they'd be like, oh. And I know that some of them were slow-mo, but like some of them were just like, I feel like I get it. You have a huge spacesuit on, so like maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but it did feel a little odd. I will say he did
the
say
space miming.
yeah, he also said like, we're getting the fuck off this ship. And I appreciated that because he's like, fuck off, we're not staying here.
Yeah.
Well,
I
speaking
love
of
the
reaction
crew. The
time,
crew was
we've got.
like, yeah. Out.
Well, speaking of reaction time, we have like Jason Isaacs, Draco Malfoy's father, where he gets like he picks up one knife. He's like, okay, I'm gonna get this guy. Picks up a big knife. I'm really gonna get this guy. Turns around and Sam Neill's like right there and like gets him.
Yeah, that was lame.
Yeah.
Like he gave it a good try.
Right. We have Kathleen Quinlan, again from Twilight Zone, the movie, Apollo 13. So again, if she's in the space movie, beware. Hills Have Eye remake. And what I really like about this movie, it goes places. Like it's mean. It's really, really mean.
Mm-hmm.
You have this mother who's missing her child, who like had to go away, miss her child's birthday. And the child who I guess has some sort of illness. She feels guilty already, and the ship's like making her see the child and like go after him, and then like tricks her into falling down a chasm of some sort.
Yeah, like women need any more guilt. Come on, dude.
She wasn't even supposed to be
shows
there
her
either.
It shows her like broken and writhing on the floor. Like, God, movie, cut away. But again, if they did a remake, I want them to keep that kind of nasty edge.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's very mean.
Yeah, it's a very mean-spirited movie. Like again, spoilers, but Lawrence Fishburne gets sent to hell. I always feel bad about that.
It's because of his dumb captain's chair.
Yeah.
His little dangly leg.
That's why he can't run very well, because he's got these little legs. His feet fell asleep. His captain's chair.
Oh god. And we have Jolie Richardson, who I absolutely love from Nip Tuck, and she's in The Girl with Dragon Tattoo. She's always a fun actress. And then we have Richard T. Jones, the guy who again does like a free, who gets blasted into space and somehow is able to find his way back directly onto the ship. That's like
he's hot and he deserves to live.
Wait, is he the one with the big was he Justin or was he the pilot?
he was the
rescue dude.
He's got the big guy.
Oh,
he sounds like Denzel Washington, but
okay. I'm getting all my people mixed up.
Yeah.
No,
he was really fun. Like he like came close to being a caricature a couple times, kind of like Chris Tucker in like Fifth Element, but like not.
Which again, does it for me, so that's great.
But you're like, okay, don't go over the top. And he didn't. He didn't. He
kept
got right to the edge. But he was in the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I always forget about that. And Super 8.
Talk about a show that deserved to have a second season. God.
Yeah, I know, it was really good, and I don't even care that much about Terminator, and I liked it. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
I love that universe. I love that universe, but I think it's one of those. I think the TV show did it more justice than most of the sequels did. Aside from the second.
Yeah, I agree. Also, he's in Santa Clara Diet, which also ended too soon, I think.
Netflix. You did not watch it, and I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Oh, it's so good. Then we have to talk about Justin, Baby Bear, who's the guy who
Baby Bear,
who goes into space without a spacesuit, and like you see his veins all popping and his eyes start popping. It's really cool. It looks really freaking good.
Justin should not be alive. Okay.
No. That's why I was like, it is very sweet of you to save him, but seriously, don't
to try to time your jump. Like
he's his blood vessels are all popped. Like how do you stop that kind of bleeding?
What kind of life is this man gonna have?
He was dying
inside.
Yeah, but
he was dying before the door opened. Like his eyes were liquefying. He's not okay.
He was like microwaved inside. Like he was done.
And he went to the hell dimension, so he's already, even if he comes back alive, he's already like messed up from going to hell.
There's not enough therapy for Justin.
No,
but the characters didn't know that. They're like, we're just gonna try to save this dude. We're trying to save Baby Bear.
I think they knew that he was a liquefied, like, microwaved man. I do think that. Maybe not the psychological stuff, but
no, they should absolutely know. If they're in space, I think they need to know the like effects of space travel and like joking out.
Fair enough.
The only other like thing at least I recognize, he was in Idle Hands right after this, so I kind of want to rewatch that.
Idle Hands. I love that Idle Hands. I use it as my comp for so many of my scripts, and I feel like I should stop, but because I don't think that many people watch it. So like Idle Hands, and people are like, "Huh?"
I haven't seen that. I need to.
Oh,
see.
I watched it in high school. Yeah, I watched in high school and kind of enjoyed it, but I really need to give it another watch.
It's a good like get stoned and watch movie.
Yeah,
I highly
it really
recommend
is.
that.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
already
it's
on
a
my
fun
watch
time.
list. I love when that happens.
Yeah.
It's a fun
And just rounding out the cast, we've got the other kind of generic British guy, Sam Pertwee. And you know he's generic British guy. He was also one of the guys in Dog Soldiers, which is a great movie. But again, you can't tell those guys apart.
No, you
But
Was that the bald one where they were like, he was like, it's
Yeah.
going to take a long time to fix this. He's like, you got 20 hours. He's like, okay. Or like, whatever. It was like, he had a countdown. It was just
yep,
like,
yep, they
okay.
can do it.
yeah, I don't think it
Like
was 20
Scotty.
hours. That's very like
Maybe it was
nice of
4.
you.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it was something. But
You
he
got
also
20
played
days.
Alfred Pennyworth in the new Gotham TV show, the latest Gotham TV show, whatever it was.
Mm.
So
I haven't watched that. I've
pretty
heard
good.
mixed things about it.
Yeah,
I liked it, but I never finished it. But I'm also not the biggest Batman fan. But I think it
Mhm.
also has the woman from Firefly, and I just like her in anything.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Monica, I can never say her name right, but something like that.
I gotta look it up.
Monica, yeah,
Or
Just Monica.
Monica, Monique.
just Monica.
But yeah, the soundtrack in this is really good. Also, just shout out to the production designers that all the sets look really, really good.
Yeah.
We're all very
They were
interesting, very gothic.
Except for that chair. Fuck that chair.
But you still remember it. You know, a good set design.
Not
is
in a
definitely
great way
memorable.
though. Like I'm gonna have nightmares
Marina-
of me being in that little chair. Like,
Marina Bakarin, just to
Okay.
circle back for 5
M
seconds.
name,
Not
sure.
Monica.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely
and that's
Monica.
enough for me.
Monica.
All right. Anything else we want to discuss? There's just, there's some good gore in this. Yeah, again, speaking of The Shining, there's that part where like the blood just starts coming out of everywhere. That was
Yeah, that
fucking
was
cool.
Yeah, and it
Um,
explodes, and it's just like everyone's
mm.
covered in. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
I liked when the gravity came back on and like all the liquid fell and then that guy fell and just like completely exploded.
Oh,
I know
the corpsicle?
that to me, yeah, that to me still looked pretty good. I was
Yeah.
the corpsicle, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
CGI aside, I definitely think this movie holds up.
yeah.
I think like there's
Definitely.
elements that don't. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say there's
Mhm.
elements that don't, and it's really that beginning like swipe of the ship with all the different little items floating around.
Yeah.
It does not look good.
Well, I'm
everything
more mean,
else
like-
is okay.
I more mean
Yeah.
like watchability wise. Like it's
Oh,
as
yes.
a story, as a movie, I think it's
Oh yes,
definitely
absolutely,
watchable.
for sure.
I mean, a full 300 theater people like basically seeing this at 9-10 p.m. on a Tuesday just shows you like this movie holds up. If
Yeah.
that many people are watching
Yeah.
it in 2019, like this movie fucks, as the kids say.
You know what the kids say?
I don't know. I don't have children.
It
I
definitely
don't know the
fucked me
kids.
up.
I haven't been around a child in a very long time.
Well, I get some babysitting you can do, so
Okay, there you go.
it can be arranged.
I don't know if they're gonna end up watching Event Horizon or something.
Oh, sure, we'll love it.
Again, I watched it at 13. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Younger.
All right, let's move to our rating. We do 0 to 5, 5 being the best, 0 being the worst. Whitney, what do you give this movie?
I give this 4 CD-ROMs out of 5 CD-ROMs.
All right, Anastasia.
I'm gonna give it 3.5. Yeah, I'm gonna give it
Okay.
3.5.
Mandu.
I feel like I overrate everything, but it gets 4.5 captain's chairs.
Oh,
Captain's chair.
Yeah, I'm also going 4.5. I just love this movie. I could watch this. This is a comfort movie in my own fucked up way. 4.5 dismembered eyeballs.
Ugh.
well, now I want to do something fun. 3.5
No, you're fine. You're fine. Oh,
severed
and that-
fingers.
okay. That's the other thing. Whitney, you brought up that they got a transmission earlier. And like we
Yeah.
got this transmission, and supposedly like NASA's been looking at it and everything, but then this one guy's like, "Oh, that's Latin." Like,
Right.
all the
The
minds
NASA
that NASA couldn't
scientists-
figure out.
He's
They
the
just
only
don't know
one on Earth
Latin.
that has spoke Latin ever.
I took 2 years of
No.
Latin in high school. I could have probably helped. And he
Yeah.
did
See?
it wrong.
You should have been on
okay?
the ship.
Yeah, put me on the ship.
Look
Next
at you
to
going to a
Samuel.
high school in a good education system. Teaches Latin.
I did not like pass it.
I mean,
It helped me with one word on my SAT though, because I did know the root word and I was able to figure it out. So
you could also probably decipher a lot of black metal band names because they all like to use Latin. I mean,
I could if I could read them, but I can't read the font. Okay.
That's fair.
I had to cut some bushes out of my front yard because the HOA is all like, "Yeah, your bushes are dying," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's fucking 120 degrees outside." If I had all the twigs in a pile, I was gonna take a picture of it and say, "This is my new black metal band name."
Amazing.
Nice. All right, now we're gonna take a quick break for a shout out.
Hi, I'm Barbara Crampton, and you're watching Dads from the Crypt.
Barbara,
What?
Barbara's in MLM with me. Just FYI.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
I literally had to stifle a scream because then we're recording.
Barbara is I love Barbara Crampton so much, especially on social media when she just hypes up everybody in horror.
Mhm.
God, what
So
a
sweet.
gem.
She's such a fan. I love
Great
that.
community.
Mhm.
Shut up, Kat. Be quiet. Nobody wants to hear you.
What did the cat think of Event Horizon?
She was very needy throughout it.
She gave it 1 out of 5. She gave
1
it
out of 5. My mom
bowl is-
ignored me.
1 out of 5. My bowl is fucking empty.
Yeah, pretty much. I can see the edge.
Like, I ate right down the middle. I can see a speck of my bowl. I might starve to death. I'm gonna go yell at mom.
Exactly. That's basically my life.
So just a few weeks ago, I fell asleep on the couch because we have a really comfy couch and my back's been really messed up. And my cat kept trying to drink out of my water. So I kept telling him no. So finally I squirted him and he walked 2 feet away and looked at me and went, "Eh," like the saddest, most pitiful meow I've never heard him make before. Like, how could you do such a thing to me? Like, you
That's
thought I
awesome.
fucking stabbed him.
I would die. Oh God, no.
I know.
All right. So for song of the day, I have a concert story I want to tell that that happened this week. So me and my wife and my daughter are big fans of the artist Pink, and we saw her at Inglewood last spring, and which was a pain in the ass to get to. It was a whole shenanigans thing. But she was coming back again this weekend to Dodger Stadium. So we found, my wife found some decent tickets for just her and my daughter to go. And then the day of, just out of curiosity, I looked up how much tickets were then for like the nosebleeds. And they were very, very cheap. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just bring Elliot. You know, he's my son who's a little on the spectrum. But I know that Dodger Stadium's a lot of places to walk around and hang out and stuff. So I figured we'll just go and we'll just hang out. So we went there and they even have like a playground and everything. So for like it was
neat.
Pink with Sheryl Crow opening.
Amazing.
Yeah, so but for the Pink part, I at least wanted to see a little bit. So you know, he played on the playground for like 2 hours. And then for the Pink part,
Stamina.
Damn. Trust me, if there's something spinning, an autistic child will be there for as long as you let him. Anyways, we tried to get to our seats, and they're like the very, very high up, steep ones, and he had like a meltdown about it. He did not want to go there, so he like ran out of the tunnel. So I was running out there, and the concert's about to start. And then at the end of the tunnel, there's a woman in a suit giving out better tickets to people, like floor seats and whatnot. He was doing it to this family that was right there. So I go up to her and I tell her what happened, and she's like, "Oh yeah, here you go." So she gave us club level seats.
That's so cool.
At Dodger Stadium. So that's
awesome.
We were only, granted, we only stayed for like half the concert because my kids are 10 and they get tired. Like Pink puts on a great show. I highly recommend it.
Doesn't she do all that just insane stuff, right?
Yeah, so she does like all these acrobatics where she's like tied into these wires as like being flung around the stadium. And like to start off, she comes out on the very top of the stadium and does like a nosedive onto the stage.
That's cool.
She's like wired up.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
No,
like,
thank
just
you.
look up the videos and stuff. It's really cool. So I don't know who this person was that gave us the tickets, but I just want to give a shout out to that wonderful, wonderful. I don't know if she worked for Pink or she worked for Dodger Stadium, but that was a huge lifesaver in that moment.
I'm with Elliot though. Like, I go to the Davies Symphony Hall to check out the SF Orchestra with movies a lot, and I always get the top seats because you have an unobstructed view of the screen when they do like a movie with live orchestra. But the stairs are so steep, and every time I go down them, I was like, someday I'm gonna watch someone fall and they're gonna die. Like they're just going to
Final
die. These stairs are so
destination.
steep.
And they're gonna haunt Chase Center forever. Or wherever it is.
Davies Symphony Hall. Shout out.
Yeah. So for the song of the week, I picked a Sheryl Crow song and a Pink song because I love messing with our list. To go with this movie, the Pink song is her song Trust Fall.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Which again, shout out to Quinlan. And then for Sheryl Crow, we're going with her cover of Cat Stevens. The first cut is always the deepest.
Okay, good.
Nice.
Good reference. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. All right. Julie's not here to do our horror news, so we're going to move on to our question of the week, which is, what are your favorite 90s horror movies not called Scream? Because that's going to be everyone's go-to.
Yeah.
So Whitney, why don't you start us off?
Okay. Went through my letterbox list to get a good idea, and there's a lot of runner-ups, but I narrowed it down to 2. Sleepy Hollow is the first one. This is one of the movies that like came out when I was like, who knows how young, a kid, and the image of Christopher Walken just seared into my mind. That's what Christopher Walken looks at with those sharp, pointy teeth forever. And then Misery, which is the movie my dad introduced me to. If you've heard me before, my dad introduced me to a lot of my horror loves, and Misery is definitely up there.
Nice. Anastasia.
This one's such a hard decade because there's like so many, but I have to say Candyman because I'm absolutely obsessed with him. Most of my stand-up is about him, which is not healthy. And then because it's all about how I want to be with Candyman. I like the urban legend stuff. I'm sorry. I like urban legend.
Well, that was
fun.
solid.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, and I liked the second one a lot more than I liked the first one, which is rare. I think it's because it's all film references, but I'm gonna say urban legend there.
You can say more than one. It's okay.
Oh well, I mean I have tons, but I don't want to keep us all day. You know, you have the whole Chucky series, and then you have Idle Hands, Silence of the Lambs, all those from the 90s. So
I wrote down like 8 others.
Yeah. The People Under the Stairs also came out in the 90s.
The Witches.
Death
Becomes Her. Ravenous. My new recent first time watch.
Till Dawn.
Brain Dead.
Exorcist 3. Cat in the Brain.
Blair Witch Project, which had the greatest marketing ever in the history of the world.
Kids today don't even know how much of the impact the Blair Witch Project had on just everybody this time.
I was terrified of it,
yeah,
and I never saw it. I was a kid, and it was just like I wasn't going to go to that website. Are you kidding me?
We get it. You're young. But anyway, I saw it in theaters with my mom.
I'm in my late 30s. Okay, my knees hurt still already.
Well, I
got something in your eye.
Yeah, so sorry. I have 2 eyes. I saw it in theaters with my mom and my sister, and they immediately went and threw up after. And I was like, "What's everyone throwing up about?"
Just being dizzy.
Yeah, I guess so. I did not get it, so I was like, found footage is not their thing.
Yeah.
My favorites of the 90s. Actually, I was thinking about this, and there's some really, really good creature feature movies in the 90s. Arachnophobia, Tremors, Anaconda, Deep Blue Sea. I'm sure there's more.
Deep Blue Sea.
Yes.
That moment where he's doing the speech and it's the best.
I mean, that song though.
Deepest, bluest. My has like a shark fin. Yes. And then we have some really good thrillers, which again, it's borderline horror, or it's horror, but it's also kind of crime as well, but there's Seven, Copycat, Silence of the Lambs, The Good Son.
Serial
The
Mom.
Good Son.
But the
Serial
Good
Mom,
Son.
yes.
Serial Mom, yes.
Good Son like made me feel redemption because I was always like an Elijah Wood girl over Macaulay Culkin, and so when it happened and that movie came out, I was like, see,
Yep.
see.
Have you guys ever seen the Jim Gaffigan show?
No.
It was on TV one time, and I was in a hotel room, and Macaulay Culkin plays the barista that they always refer to as that guy that looks like Macaulay Culkin.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Another like horror adjacent one that I wrote down, because we've listed everything that I wrote down so far, but Eve's Bayou. That's what I recently watched for one of my movie themes. And I get it, it's more adjacent, but that movie was so good and just heartbreaking.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good one.
I love a
Nightbreed came out too.
Louisiana southern setting.
We also don't forget about Dead Alive.
You're right.
Dead Alive, yeah.
Well, I said Brain
In
Dead.
the Mouth of Madness.
In the Mouth of Madness, yes.
New Nightmare.
All right.
Event Horizon.
But Jason never asked me, but I'm actually with Anastasia. My favorite of the 90s is probably Candyman. To this day, I still remember watching that on VHS when I was too young probably to be watching it, and the score just crawled under my skin, and it's so good.
Did I ever tell y'all my Candyman Alamo Drafthouse Terror Tuesday story? I feel like I've mentioned it a ton because it was so offensive. So it was a sold out Alamo Drafthouse. Like, this movie is not funny at any point. And then we're in the last 15 minutes, which means it's 11:30 midnight. And there is a guy drinking a snuck in Bud Light Strawberita and is just laughing through the ending. People are yelling at him. They are asking him to leave. He will not get up. They're like, we're not going to call the cops. It's like literally we're about to shut down. They gave everybody as they left a movie ticket to come back I was just like, how do you ruin the last 20 minutes of what part of this is funny to you?
I hope he was visited by Candyman later that night.
It was pretty rough. Yeah, seriously. Who sneaks in a Strawberita? Like, come on now.
At least sneaking a decent drink. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, a flask at least. Like a fucking tall boy Strawberita.
At least sneaking a toppling Goliath pseudo soup.
All right. That's when we threw our.
You could also have to mention the Asian horror films that were coming out around those times, like Audition and Ring. But that's all. That's it. That's all. Audition Every Man Hates.
Audition's so good.
Also saw that at the Terror Tuesday. I gotta say it. It comes out.
You should have a sign or a sound clip.
I'm just offended that Jason 10 wasn't sold out. I'm just saying.
That was offensive, wasn't it?
Yes.
All right. I just want to we posted this question to our threads, so I just want to read out a couple of those answers. Bill Netherlands also said In the Mouth of Madness. And Cavino said a bunch of movies we mentioned, but we haven't mentioned Demon Knight.
God!
How did you not mention that?
I know.
I'm shocked. I saw both of those at a Terror Tuesday. Okay, I'm done.
That's cool.
I probably saw it in theaters. Stop with you.
He also said New Nightmare.
Yes.
The Faculty, Devil's Advocate. I love Devil's Advocate.
Devil's Advocate, the monologue at the end where he's like, worship God. Never.
And Fallen is another good one.
Yeah, I forgot about Fallen. That was good.
Yeah. Okay, and then also on.
Is that what's Fallen? Is
that's
that
one Denzel Washington, I think, with a demon that's jumping bodies.
That's not the one I'm thinking of. I was thinking of one where someone's like an archangel or something, and there's a gas station. I don't know.
The Prophecy?
That's what I'm thinking of.
The Prophecy. Isn't there one?
I think it's The Prophecy.
There's the one where they're in the diner.
That's Prophecy.
I think that's.
Is it?
Okay. It is a Prophecy because Christopher Walken's familiar dies, so he gets the one of the waitresses at the diner.
Yes.
Familiar. That might be Prophecy
1995. There we go. That's probably not that good
No,
of a movie, though.
I'm thinking of Legion.
No, second one's good. First two, I will stand by being great. The third one, I don't remember that well, but Arrow Video did a fucking killer 4K box set of it. I haven't watched the third one yet, though.
All right.
Yeah. Legion.
Over on our Instagrams, post this to our stories. Okay, there's a couple more we didn't mention yet. Bram Stoker's Dracula
Yeah.
and The Craft.
Yes.
Oh, how did we miss that?
Someone said T2.
I feel bad as a woman
I'll count it
now.
as horror.
You've let people down.
Obviously, Bride of Chucky. Between Bride of Chucky and The Craft, that like shaped my future life. So
Yeah. Same.
All right, and then the last one we have is Army of Darkness and The Frighteners.
love both those. The Frighteners.
Yeah.
So underrated. God, it's a good movie.
That's been on my watch list forever. I feel like that's one I
that's a
need to
good
like
movie.
try to fit
You'd
into
really
a
like it.
theme.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
It's got some really dark moments too, but it's a very enjoyable movie overall.
All right, so yeah, people like to bag on the '90s as being like kind of a not great decade for horror, but there's a lot there, and we just listed like
a lot.
dozens of them. So
Those are people that I don't want to be friends with.
Yeah, get out.
The '90s were great.
okay, it might not be like the heights of the '80s, but there's plenty of
just
them.
Look past the CGI that sometimes is just like, wow, that's terrible, and it can take you out for a moment. But
yeah,
if you can forgive it and just recognize like it was a time.
Well, and also like some of the stuff like Jason Goes to Hell. I actually love that a lot. But I think it's such a departure from other movies. They're trying something new. New Nightmare was completely different from the previous Nightmare movies. So it was kind of really experimental with a lot of stuff they were doing. Event Horizon being kind of experimental, or In the Mouth of Madness.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. The '90s were very experimental when it came to horror. I think the '80s were kind of perfecting what had come before it in the '60s and '70s, and the '90s were okay. We've got it all established. Let's see what we can break down. And sometimes when you do that, you get some stinkers, you get some misfires. It's going to happen, but I like the audaciousness of it all.
I think the endearing thing about the '80s was that even the bad stuff was at least fun. They had this just knack for making fun movies, even if they were bad.
Do you remember? Do you know like how Event Horizon was received when it came out? Like, was this like really successful?
Yeah.
Was this like
Did
not
not do well?
Yeah, it was not. It did not do well in the theaters. Critics were okay on it. It was kind of up and down, but I think it was either too much or just there was like too much other stuff happening around then. Also, August is kind of a time to dump movies. But the movie did extremely well on home video, so I think it's one of those movies that like it looks so scary. I think it looked too scary for people to want to go see it in the theater to some degree for the casual audience, but they felt more comfortable renting it at home. So I remember I was reading that Kurt what was his name? Paul Anderson or was Paul Anderson after this did a movie called Soldier with
Kurt Russell.
With Kurt Russell. And Kurt Russell
Anderson's Hellraiser.
Soldier's good, by the way. It's like a video. It's like one of the first movies I felt like a video game.
But Kurt Russell said, I guess Paul Anderson was down after the experience of Event Horizon. And Kurt Russell said, you know what? After watching that movie, that's the movie you're going to be remembered for in 15 years.
That's cool. It's like John Carpenter and The Thing. The Thing was panned when it came out. It's terrible.
It's wild to me to think of that. People didn't like The Thing, and they're just like, when it's like cited as one of the best horror movies ever made.
I think a lot of it has to do with the exact moment that a movie like that comes out, because it's right after it comes out, like a week or two after E.T. Like people are just not in the mood for that kind of movie and to go to a theater. But on video, you can watch it out of that context, and then it kind of takes off.
That's just so hard, I think, for everything. Like, it's so thought about when we talk about video games a lot. And it's just like sometimes like your video game will be a hit if you release it just at the right time. If another video game is like, people are mad at Call of Duty, now's a good time to but you don't always have control over that. That's
a great example of that, Whitney, is Animal Crossing during the pandemic.
Yes,
exactly. Nintendo made people stay home. They caused COVID. I know so many people are saying that
they released COVID. If we're gonna get banned on
And-
YouTube, we're going all the way. Nintendo released COVID for
Was it
Animal Crossing.
Miyamoto.
I still remember Joe from Bloody Good Horror, like losing his mind over turnips.
Yes.
Oh my
Or
god, I
they were.
remember the turnip chat in
Yes,
VGH
oh my
Slack
God.
was wild. Oh my god.
And someone told him something to play the stock market. He goes, "I'm this stressed over fake money and turnips. I'm not playing the stock market," or something like that. I was like, "Yeah."
Fair.
It was insane.
I'm just waiting for everyone to come around and realize the brilliance of Book of Shadows, the Blair Witch Project too.
I have
gonna
to
happen
go.
one day.
I have to leave.
I don't not agree.
One day we'll look back on
Someday,
this in
Mondo,
10
you'll
years
have
and be
your
like,
time.
Mondo's right.
No,
Where's Jody?
never.
No,
agree
but
with
I'm
you.
saying I liked it. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. Yes.
Your double
Yes.
negative got confusing.
I'm so sorry.
I'm not very smart.
Not nodding. Not.
Yeah.
I'm just an idiot, which is what I'll say.
He was just
All right.
deafened by my hatred,
Well-
and he just had to silence everything else.
Did I ever tell you my 16-year-old story about taking a girl to go see a Blair Witch Project?
No.
I might have said it before. So I was driving, so I was 16, and this girl lived
Brag.
down the street from me. We went to go see the movie, and we got back. I was dropping her off at her house, and she goes, "Man, my parents aren't home, so I'm gonna be kind of scared to be in my house by myself." I said, "That sucks. I hope you have a good." And I went
I
home.
have heard this story before. I heard you laughed. What is wrong with you?
Hey, I was.
You could have
And it
got
was
to
like-
third base.
It was like hours later. I'm playing some video game. I think probably Final Fantasy 6, and I was like, "Fuck."
That girl cried. That girl cried, and she probably is still
did.
unpacking her trauma with her therapist.
She really
knowing
is,
how
yeah.
I was when I was 16.
If you're saying I-
well,
If you're saying I helped lead someone to therapy, I'll take that as a compliment.
Only if you pay your
Okay.
therapy bills.
Yeesh.
That's what insurance is for. My insurance doesn't cover mine, so I don't know.
So that's our dad advice. If a girl or your partner says she's scared to go into their house alone, that's a sign that you should probably go in with them.
To not go
Yes.
home and play video games. I feel like Fabio would have done
Correct.
that though, because he's so much about his Xbox stuff where it's like, do you want to watch? Like, we were supposed to watch Event Horizon together. I was like, have you seen this? And he was like, yeah, you haven't? And I was like, no, I have. Do you want to rewatch it with me? And then I got booted for soccer.
Well,
And he came home and now
now-
he can't walk because he played soccer.
well, now
like,
you can be
well-
like, okay,
Uh,
go grab your Steam Deck or go grab your Switch and come keep me company.
I mean,
Yeah.
my wife just knows my first
Gotta play
priority is
Destiny
going
2.
and putting a gi on and grappling with other sweaty men. So I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I already have to like have him play hockey. Now he's playing soccer. He's just gonna hurt himself.
probably.
Maybe, but you know what? Like
Yeah.
No, he
injuries don't
did.
last forever. It's fine. I have so many
He's like
injuries.
limping around the house.
Forever.
You just get to a point where you're not sure if you're injured or this is how you feel 24 hours a day. And when you get to that point, you kind of just forget about your injuries. It's kind of nice.
I can just see like Mondo at the end of Event Horizon releasing Baby Bear from Stasis. His blood, his veins are all popped out, his eyes are all popped out. It's okay, injuries aren't forever.
It's fine. He'll be fine. Like just
You
Do we
were
have-
that's
do we
the
have some tape?
attitude they had. They'll be fine.
we'll tape it up. It'll be great. Like
We'll
Put
rub
a
some
little
dirt on
Band-Aid
it.
over it.
All right, any other dad advice for the evening?
aside
No,
from
just
don't
take your hookups when you get the chance. Don't ignore them.
Yeah, and don't go to space.
Yeah. Don't go to space.
Go to space.
Holy shit! Is
Go
Elon
to
Musk
space?
essentially Sam Neill from fucking Event Horizon? Is he
No.
trying to open
Yes.
a portal to
No.
hell?
Don't insult Sam Neill like that.
Yeah, how dare you?
Okay.
Even I'll
Okay.
still stand
Well, no,
for Sam Neill at the
not-
end of this video.
Not the actor, but the character in the movie.
I'll still
An
stand by
evil,
that guy
an
over
evil
Elon
son of a
Musk.
bitch
Are you
trying to.
saying hold on, are you saying the Event Horizon spaceship is the Cybertruck?
No, because the Event Horizon
No, because
spaceship
that's
at
not
least looks
lost.
cool.
I see them around Oakland. Okay.
There's
want
no
to
they
tag
gateway to
them.
hell in each Cybertruck.
Wasn't there someone who it rained on their truck and the battery caught fire? I'm like, how the fuck did
Yes.
this get past quality control? You know, that guy
Yeah.
sucks too. While we're at it, while we're just burning bridges, fuck Elon Musk and fuck X, whatever the fuck it is.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right.
Any
Anyone
more
else we want to,
Shit
yeah,
on.
anyone else?
I have a list. Well, remember the
Wait,
episode where
what's that guy that you always hate?
goddamn Glenn Jacobs? I've been giving Glenn Jacobs.
Oh no, we lost Mondo.
Oh, we lost Mondo.
Glenn Jacobs put him over the edge.
He froze in a rage. That's crazy.
All right, YouTube shut us down.
Glenn
Shut down
Jacobs.
Mondo's feed.
This is
We're not even
Mondo's
uploaded
fault.
yet, and it's already shutting him down.
He's got a
Oh
good
my
pause photo though.
I know.
Yeah. It's not like
Oh, he's joining on another feed. Hold on, I'm gonna let him in.
Dude, I don't know if it's working or not. My phone just, while plugged in, just died because I realized that I wasn't actually plugged in.
I thought
So
it was
that's
Glenn
fine.
Jacobs' fault.
Yeah, we're blaming.
I just plugged it into the cable that wasn't plugged into anything. That's why it died. I'm like, how did my phone die? It's been plugged.
Adulting.
All right. Well, next week we're gonna finish up our round of Sam Neill movies. Which one we're gonna do? It's gonna be a surprise.
My vote
But
is
that-
Jurassic Park because that is a horror movie. It's terrifying.
What is that one? Dead Calm? You should do that one.
Maybe.
Maybe. Is that the one I'm thinking of? The one with the
Yeah.
kid?
With
That's why.
what's his name? Billy Zane and Nicole
Yeah,
Kidman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nicole
That was
Kidman.
I've never seen
Possession.
it.
Possession. I don't know if I can watch that movie again. That movie gave me a lot of anxiety.
That's fair. Peter
That
Rabbit
opened up-
2.
What's that?
Peter Rabbit 2.
I love
there's a
freaking
true
Peter
horror.
Rabbit. I will go to bat for that movie. Both
Oh,
of them.
Omen 3. That could be fun.
Oh.
No.
I'm just going down Sam Neill's
I say
list
Dead
of
Oh,
Calm.
yeah.
movies.
Possession is my comfort film, so
Oh, that movie like makes me want to go to extra therapy. Like that movie like
That's fair.
opens things up for me, and not in a
And
good way.
aren't they remaking it? Like, did anyone ask for it to be remade?
Nobody asked.
It was
No.
someone big though. Who was it?
I
Google.
don't know.
All right, we'll leave that one a
Jason
mystery.
Blum or something.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I posted a meme I saw about the Blumhouse version of the Hakua Girl played by Micah Monroe. I love it so much.
Oh, Robert Pattinson. And the issue that I have is it's the Smile director, which is not promising.
But I could definitely see Robert. If I could pick an actor,
I can see Robert Pattinson.
I do Robert Patterson.
yeah.
So-
Robert Patterson.
Well, he's already in a movie about tentacles with in the lighthouse, so he's already
He's well versed with tentacles.
exactly. All right, well, that wraps up another episode. Thank you so much, Whitney. Thank you so much, Anastasia, for joining us.
Ew, thanks for having
Throw
me.
out any socials you want to plug.
You can find me at Anastasia Wash on Instagram, at Anastasia W on TikTok, and I don't know, AnastasiaWashington.com.
All right, Whitney.
You can check me out at Whitney Please on Instagram, or check out Oh My Horror at ohmyhorror.com, and just follow all the links there for the Instagram and eventually the Discord if you want to join my movie challenge.
Awesome.
Do we
All
need a
right,
Discord?
well-
Do we need a Discord? Should we do a Discord?
No.
Do you want additional work?
Yeah, I'm already maxed out. Mon, if you want to do one, you're more than welcome to.
Nah, it sounds like work. It's fine.
It
Yeah.
is.
It does.
Moderation
All
is
right.
hard.
We appreciate everyone for watching and listening. We appreciate everyone that would give us a rating on iTunes, a rating on Spotify, a like and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us at Dads from the TikTok on TikTok. And with that, we thank you for listening to Dads from the Crypt.
Follow Dads from the Crypt on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or I will follow you to the grave. No, seriously, you really should watch. But be careful what you ask for. You may get it.
I always try to do the laugh
Yeah.
when